Welcome back to our series on relationships. So we've now covered agreement, and now I want to go into the next phase of a relationship. Once we've got some agreement with a person and we know that we're on the same page, or at least maybe we're not on the same page, but at least we're have it declared and that we know what the game's about, then we start to go a bit deeper and we look at discovery. So let's dive into the discovery element of a relationship. This is a place where those who suspect they're innately wise, brilliant and powerful come to learn how to transform their lives, one cognition, one realization and one blinding flash of the obvious at a time. We are the innovators, the record breakers, the world makers and creators of all kinds. We supersede the suppressive worldview of mass ignorance and awaken the strength within. We are waking up to our innate secrets. My name is Dr. Mark Postles and welcome to the In8 Secrets podcast. After the agreements are in place, the honeymoon begins. You know, the period where we're on our best behaviour. We tend to show that which is we would believe would be pleasing to the other party. And this could be in any area that you care to name where one or more people get together. And this is a period where we start to see a few little chinks in the armour, just a few little areas that may not be necessarily congruent with what we were led to believe in the agreement phase, and not necessarily from a negative point of view. It's simply, it's not something that's overtly done or even covertly done. It's just what it is. And so beneath all of us, we have a territory which has been maybe unexplored by people around us, and maybe only those who are very close to us get to explore that territory. And so, there's much territory to be discovered. There's much new ground to be explored in a relationship. And this is the discovery phase. This is where we start to notice the little bits and pieces that are nuances, are ahas, or surprises that this person has, in fact, that we all have, that get revealed in a given relationship. So basically, I would see that we have two dimensions to this one. We have a horizontal and we have a vertical. So if we look at the horizontal first, the horizontal is a reference from past, which in the classic Western world we tend to go to the left side, to the future, which is represented to our right side. So it's a journey from the past to the future. So in this, particularly the representation of the past, although expectations of the future are certainly major things that we're going to discover as well, but there's a relationship that we have with our past. In other words, things that have happened in our past then do leave an imprint. They leave an effect on us that creates a behavioural viewpoint, an identity of the world that is very, very real. So a discovery phase is about the past, and you'll find that you'll naturally go into this. This is an innate seeking that we have, is where you're from and how was school for you, and what relationship you had before, and what do you know about this particular topic? What experiences have you had in this particular area? So that's a digging into the past. It's a discovery of the past, and discovery is a general creating a map of the territory. It's not necessarily the nitty-gritty detail, because early on in a relationship we don't necessarily have the right to the gory little petty details. They will come out as trust is developed, and that's the upcoming phase, which is the investigation phase. So right now we're looking at discovery, and to discover a person's past, to get an awareness of what it is that, where it is that they've come from, what it is that they've understood about that, and what rules have they made for themselves. So likewise, going forward, there's the future, and what are their hopes and their aspirations for the future, which may reveal things that are way beneath what was originally undertaken within the agreements. And this is really useful to know, because if we go on just the superficial agreements that we made when we were just getting together in whatever the relationship was, be it business and teams and sports or romantic, then we would have seen the superficial and declared that, but we discover underneath that there are some very interesting and maybe agreement changing aspects to a person's future or aspirations for their future. So that's a horizontal, and we go into that a lot more in various aspects of the innate secrets, but know that the past and the future are necessary parts of a relationship that are there to be discovered. The other level of relationship is the vertical. So with the horizontal, we have a vertical, and the vertical is like the vibration, if you like. The vertical is going from a high level of vibration at the top to a low level of vibration at the bottom. And so if you like, we come into this life with a high vibration. You look at the innocence of children, the playfulness of children, and you look at when people get aged, decrepit, crusty, bitter, that's a lower vibration, right? So we go from a vibration of high energy, and often we degenerate into a vibration of low energy. So where is this person in respect to their vibration? And the discovery of this is a really important part of developing relationships, because we all have our low vibrational areas, and what is it that we're having there that is reflective of our values. And this is a critical area when it comes to a relationship going forward, and we'll spend more time on this in a separate podcast. But the dynamic of values and how it affects our vibration, and that then flows over into beliefs. And beliefs, of course, flow over into behaviours. So whilst behaviours on the surface can be very delightful, underneath, when a person gets put under stress, then behaviours can change, because they're reflecting the beliefs that person has, that stress point has triggered and shown up, and that will be firing off some underlying values. So being aware of the way that people act when they get under stress, and I get accused sometimes by my family as looking at life as a social experiment, and I think it is really. It's it is like, wow, this is incredible. Let's have a look and see if we can discover about what makes this person tick, or what makes this group tick, or what makes this relationship tick, and that's the essence of discovery in the context of this vertical dynamic, particularly. What is it that's going to trigger this person? What puts them over the edge? And with a loving intent, so that we can now know what are either the no-go zones, or the tread gently zones, or the areas I want to investigate further zones in the relationship. So it's, while everything is going great, relationships can be fantastic, and then something goes against the flow, and all of a sudden things go to cactus. So it's about understanding where the stresses are, what the stressors, the nature of those stressors, is, and being able to navigate that, and picking your battles, so to speak, relative to this phase of your discovery. So this leads into identity preferences and the way that we prefer to be seen. And this is in a relationship is something to be very aware of, because the other person's or other people's identities and their preferences around those may be very different to yours. So this is the delicate aspects of discovery. We want to find out what it is, but we don't want to go too deep to create a big mess. And often we have to wait for more. We get more license, through trust. We earn that trust over time in a relationship that then allows us to go maybe a little bit deeper. So the important part about this too is to recognize that we have values and beliefs and behaviors and identity preferences, which are our viewpoint of the world, and our viewpoint of the world can be very different from another person's. So, because it's so for us doesn't mean that it's so for the other person. So within this then, this point of discovery is seeking out strengths and weaknesses, seeking out areas where you have to tread lightly, seeking out advantages and disadvantages of this relationship relative to the agreements you've made. And already by this time in this discovery mode, we may have uncovered a bunch of areas where we can't exactly agree according to the original agreement, and that may need to be looked at, that may need to be revisited. And so essentially it's a pragmatic phase. It's looking at the territory and saying, okay, what works and what doesn't work? What are the areas that are going to be a great advantage to our relationship and our agreement, and what are areas that are going to be possibly a disadvantage? And not that that's a negative. I would see this all as a positive, because it's a fact-seeking exercise. So that's it. That's the nutshell of discovery. It's an important part in a relationship. And once we've got agreement, we have certain license to go into discovery. And there's areas here then, an opportunity to shift the agreement, to enhance the agreement, and see things maybe from a different perspective, and take the relationship to the next level. Let us show you how to fire your brain in ways that serve you, so that you can be confident, connected, and bring joy and passion into what you do every day. Get a free copy of my book, The Innate Model. Go to theinnatemodel.com/free book.